Hi, it's me. I'm not really used to this sort of thing. I am not a self-promoting person, but we're giving it a go, like everything else in life. If you don't give it a go, then why not? Give it a go. So we're promoting or launching my book, Ardamin Clone number 7, and I've got my wife here with me to support me or bash me, one or the other. I'm not really sure which. Can you pass me the speech? Okay. So I'm going to try and keep this fairly simple. A short speech, followed by a reading from the book. We'll see how it goes. So I thought I'd rather than talk about the actual book itself and what it's about and that sort of thing, I would talk about the process that it's been. It's been interesting, and I hope you find it interesting as well. Because when you start writing a novel, you start off with an idea. You know, it starts to grow, and at a certain stage you have an actual story. You've got the meat of something. So you work on it a bit further from all the information that's swirling around in your head. And before you know it, you've got a completed draft, and you think to yourself, oh, I've just written a book. And nothing could be further from the truth. You have to read it as best you can as someone reading a book. Not as the person that's written the book. It's not easy to do, but you've got to try and find out what you have actually written. I mean, you think it's good, but would a reader think it is? So what you find out is what you have isn't a novel, isn't even close to it. It's just a mess of words and ideas that don't really make much sense. That's when you start rewriting it. And rewriting takes a long time. It took me 6 months. So during this time, what you really need is an editor, someone with vision, someone that can see the passion that you've put into your work, and someone who wants to help you complete your novel. Unfortunately, editors come at a cost. The better the editor, the more it costs. And when you're writing your first novel, money's not really a thing you have. In fact, you're pretty poor when you start writing a novel. I know I was. So you have to self-edit, which means you write it and read it and write it and read it. It's pretty boring stuff. You get to know everything about the book, but you miss a lot of it. So what you do is you pass it around your family and ask them to help you edit. Now, they're not editors. I'm not an editor. But they do their best that you can. Now, when you're editing, you're trying to find all the mistakes you've made and repair them and make them look a bit better. So things like grammar, spelling, pacing, that sort of thing, you know, is what you're trying to fix. And of course, when you're relying on family, they're not paid. They're not getting any money for it. And some of them don't like the genre, and some of them just don't have the time to support you. It's not easy. Especially when you've got the ramblings of a dyslexic middle-aged man to deal with. I mean, I'm sure my family are pretty sick of trying to edit my stuff, especially Leanne. So you think you've got it finished. You think you've got a finished product. You think you've got yourself a book. So what do? Now that you've got this, you farm it out. You see who will look at it. So you contact agents and publishing companies, and you're lucky if you ever hear back from them. You sort of think that, oh yeah, an agent will look at it and say, oh, this is a real gem, you know, a diamond in the rough or whatever it is. And what they'll do is suggest things to you like, oh, you need so-and-so to edit this, so hey, I'll work with you and get this editor. That's what you think going in. What you find out is, if you're really, really, really lucky, they send you back a letter just saying, no thanks. That's it. That's all you get. Most people don't even bother sending you that. So you've got this diamond, you think you've polished it into a gemstone and you're pretty happy with it. And it's the 21st century, and places like Amazon make it easy to publish a book. They don't make it too hard. But they don't explain things properly. I suppose that's why they've got lots of people selling books on Amazon, telling you how to publish on Amazon. Yeah, that makes sense. So you get in the process, and it's supposed to be a logical sort of process that you can follow and do and think to yourself, wow, you know, I'm publishing a book. But before you know it, it's like a runaway train, and it's taking you to places that you're going a lot faster than you thought you would be going. So next thing you know, you've got a book. And this has happened, it happened to me, before you even get to see the proof copy of the novel. Especially because I live so far away from America. Now, I thought, with them being a publishing company, that there would be a pause between the proof and the published work. It's sort of written down that way with them, but it's not what they do. As soon as they are happy with the fact that your book is not a mess, they publish it. So that's it. And you end up having a date that you want your novel to be published, and it's already out. And then you decide to make a launch date instead. And then you finally get your copy. You get it. You get it to look at and to proofread. And that's when you notice all the mistakes that you've made. And there are a lot. I know there are. And I'm dyslexic and I can spot them, so you're going to spot them as well. But what can you do? You're 2 days out from launching your novel. Do you pull it, you know, and work on it for another 3 months and then republish it? Well, I didn't, and I thought, you've got to plough ahead. Why not? Mistakes and all. If people don't like it, people don't like it. It's that. Hopefully, you can see that it is a diamond in the rough, and that you can enjoy the story and skip over my mistakes. I can't throw my speech away yet. I've got some people I'd like to thank. I'd really like to thank my wife, my very patient wife Leanne, without whom I would never have managed to get a word down on paper anyway. She has been very, very supportive of me, and I wouldn't have gotten this far without her. Thank you, honey. I'd also like to thank my daughter Samantha. Her contributions to this story were phenomenal. They were very insightful and very good. And what Samantha did was she pulled me back when I overstepped. She said, "Hey Dad, you've gone too far with this. I don't understand where you're going with this part. What's this over here?" And if you're lucky, you've got someone like Samantha when you write a book to say, "Hey, you've gone a little bit far with this. You need to pull it back." And without Samantha, it would have been a much different experience. So thank you, Samantha. Finally, I'd like to thank, not finally, next I'd like to thank my son Joshua, who drew the Kindle edition behind me there. It wasn't an easy job to get done. There were many, many hours of digital construction and reconstruction gone into that artwork. And I'm very proud of the fact that he got it done. You know, he worked really hard on it, and he was rushed, and he turned out a quality product. So thank you very much of you for doing that, Joshua. And finally, I'd like to thank anyone who has ordered a copy of the book or who is going to buy the book. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it. Now I can get rid of the speech. Yay! I'll tell you a little bit about the book. It's obviously a book set in a fantasy world, a dystopian time on the planet, 3 years after the fall of humanity. There has been an alien invasion, and they have converted most of the planet to a type of zombie worker, a zombie drone. And it's during that time people have fought against it, and Ardamin, clone number 7, is one of those guys fighting against it. So I hope you find it an interesting read. And what I'm going to do now is I am going to read a couple of passages, if you want to stick around and listen. Hope so. It's just a couple of passages from the book. I've kept them brief, and I've hopefully picked a couple that are interesting and exciting. I'm not the best reader in the world, so here we go. Colonel Ardamin's voice came out of the wall. "Well, I could tell you that we're not attacking you and play for time, but I'm not some kind of bullshit politician. You bastards attacked our planet, killed billions, turned billions of our people into drones, and then you expect us to just roll over and join you, become your partners in the universe, where all you do is the same thing to other civilizations." You could hear him drawing breath before continuing. "You are parasites. You don't join parasites. You eliminate them. We're coming to eliminate you." The wall lit up, and it showed what Ardamin assumed was the attack display screen that the android was looking at. It showed the helicopters in formation from the west, the missiles, he counted 7 of them, coming up fast behind. A little further back, the attack aircraft. Colonel Ardamin's aircraft was also displayed, coming up from the southwest. And in the middle was a blue ball representing the base that they were currently in. We cannot take back the past, Colonel, but what you are doing will drastically affect humankind's existence. Belshazzar spoke calmly. As we stand today, you can walk amongst the stars as our equals, with technology you can barely imagine. Stop this attack, and we can continue down this path. We've cleared your global warming, fixed your rotting nuclear programs, cleaned up your nuclear waste on the ground, and we're still cleaning it up in the ocean floor, cleaned your oceans of rivers of all the plastic, even the microplastics that were in your fish and ocean creatures. We brought your planet back from the edge of destruction, the human species from self-destruction and eventual extinction from your own global pollutions. Don't throw all that away now. Stop the missiles and the fighters. Turn back the Australians, and you and I could still discuss a decent solution, even for your personal anger and grief. You son of a bitch! You think because you have that clone of me that you know what I am thinking and feeling? We built that clone and selected what memories we would include. We designed the way it would think. That thing is not me. It's my younger likeness. It's full of silicon chips, not a real brain. You scanned it. You know what those programmed chips are full of. As for memories, we uploaded them into it. Those were designed to make it more soft than any human would ever be. So it could be captured, so it could be taken control, and we could speak to you to set up some kind of meeting like this so we could get close to you fuckers, so we could wipe you out. And as for the clone, it's just a thing like you are, a piece of hardware built to perform a function, and it has performed its function. You could hear him turning and flicking some switches. Christian, he said. A gap of silence while they assumed Christian answered him. Belshazzar looked at Ardamin. Ardamin was stunned. He was built to be captured. He knew that. Belshazzar and Qatar had made it quite clear. But to find out that he was built to be destroyed like this, used, deceived, and treated like a piece of garbage once he'd served his purpose, he was devastated. It showed on his face. Colonel Ardamin's voice returned. Terminate the clone! Ardamin looked at Belshazzar. No, I don't. He dropped to the ground, no longer functioning. Now for the other piece. Ardamin arrived late for the rendezvous. Murphy was angry at him when she saw the scarring on his left arm. What the fuck happened to you? Murphy asked him, her nostrils flaring with anger as she pointed to his left arm. Oh, I had a little run-in at the sporting goods store, he answered, trying to make nothing of it. Don't you lie to me. I will not stand for lying. I've had enough of that when I was married. Okay, it was a bit more than a little run-in, but I'm okay. Is that a bite mark? She grabbed his arm. Most of the teeth marks were completely gone, but the injection fang marks were still quite pink. Yes. She stepped back from him. Manny grabbed his gun and pointed at him. Whoa, I'm not a drone or anything else. I'm still me. That's what a zombie drone would say, Manny said rather irrationally. Do the converted speak? Zombie drones speak? Asked Ardamin. Mandy couldn't think of one, but Murphy could. She had met an android and a controller at the Bellagio months before the arrival of Ardamin. Apart from the slightly gold skin of an android, you couldn't tell them apart from a normal human. "You could be an android," she blurted out, her hand resting on the gun. "Fine," he said, taking out the knife Manny had given him. Manny cocked his weapon and Murphy drew out a pistol. He looked at their scared faces and then cut into the flesh of his left arm. It hurt as he did it, but red blood came flowing out. "Do androids bleed?" Manny lowered his gun. Murphy put hers away. "I don't know, but wouldn't think so. But only a human would be stupid enough to cut himself like that," Murphy answered. She went to get the first aid kit from the SUV. Ardamin put the knife in the scabbard, clamped the wound running down his forearm. When Murphy got back, it had already stopped bleeding, and they watched together as it slowly began to heal. It was fascinating as the cut slowly began to close. As they watched, he told them of the encounter back at the sports store and how they escaped. There you go. Couple of passages from Ardamin Clone 7. I hope you like it. It's officially launched. I'm going to go pop some champagne that I've got and have a drink of champagne. I'm going to wish you all the best, and thanks for watching. Bye.